The streets are buzzing. How sweet it is. New York Knicks 6 in a row, dominating the Lakers in a second half gritty showcase. Our defense stepping up like it's 1999, man. And the gritty Knicks are back, ladies and gentlemen, rolling 31-18 now on the season, right? But a lot of heroes in this one. Landry Shamet, one of his best games as a New York Knick, man. 23 points, was big time off the bench. And Tyler Kolek as well continues to run amok off the bench. And our New York Knicks look like they're having fun, ladies and gentlemen, right? They were tested early in this one, but a key trait of our New York Knicks is we come to play in the second half, man. I'm calling them the fast finishing Knicks, right? Because it's been a trait, it's been a trait this season. Come from behind, come back, whatever you want to call it. NBA Cup, Christmas Day. This one, once again, they were down at halftime by 4 points only. But, it was a game where the Lakers were better in the first half and the Knicks were lucky to only be down 4. But, McCall, Brunson, Cat were sloppy in the first half. And you just knew that if the Knicks' big guns came to play in the second half, they had a chance to really get this dub. And that they did, right? They showed up. And the Lakers just could not generate good offense late. And the Lakers' defense was struggling for most of the night. They did have to go zone. Look, Luka, LeBron, they were standouts. They're obviously going to get their offense going. But look, LeBron was very passive, pass first at this stage of his career. At this moment, pulled up for a couple of threes. But they were struggling to get good separation. And you got to give the Knicks defense, man, a lot of credit. Kolek there with an amazing wraparound, man. He's just playing with good energy right now, youthful energy, and exactly what this team needs, man. OG Anunoby was huffing and stuffing, getting this great steal and getting out on the break as well. OG and our wing stop, man, is back, fully operational, man, and trading, man, all you can eat. Ladies and gentlemen, LBJ. You can't spell LeBron without an L, and the Knicks gave LeBron an L at MSG, man. It feels good. Shout out to all Knicks fans out here, too. We're going to be giving out 3 game balls, man, because that shows the performance, the level that the Knicks need to keep it at for our defense, man, to go all the way to that championship. And our Knicks are finally looking like a championship squad right now, locking in. Despite a sloppy first half, man, I'm calling us the fast finishing Knicks because you want to get a healthy lead on the Knicks. Remember Eric Spoelstra was saying earlier in the season, man, the team that I'm seeing are hard to put away. And Eric Spoelstra was correct. Obviously we hit that spiral and we're back now, but, back when we were playing our best ball, we were hard to put away. Because you can be up 4, you can be up 6, you could be up 10 on the Knicks at halftime. That ain't enough. Especially with an insane crowd, man. Unbelievable crowd, man. We're in playoff form tonight, man. National TV. And let's dial up the game balls. But salute to Al Tango, Apoca Knicks, New York City Grays, Chancellor, Al Tango, Ernest Cameron, Yo Alpha, and Pete in the building. Let's go. Nick Streets assemble, man. How y'all feeling? We are 13 games over 500 now. I believe that is the season high. Now, Johnny Chiba in the house. You guys let us know. Did we get 14 games over 500? I think 13 might be the high right now. And we're on track for 50 plus wins. We'll go through the mathematics, I do think the Knicks got to go something like now 21. I think 21-12. I think to get to 52 wins. I predicted 56, but look, 52. I think 53, 55 is realistic. We'll take a look at the standings because Boston pulled out a win tonight as well, and we keep pace. Obviously, holding on to the second seed right now, man. But what did y'all think of the Lake Show, first and foremost, right? They were obviously up for it in the first half, but once again, I thought they should have been up by more than 10. I think every Laker fan kind of would have felt like kind of down only being up 4 because the Knicks were so sloppy, man. And as I dial up the game balls right now, it ain't how you start, it's how you finish. And Jalen Brunson, man, just shy of that triple double, man. I wanted Cap to get that triple double, man. But what did he finish with? Like 12 assists. He's got to get a game ball. Finished just a couple of rebounds short. Fam. 13 dimes, man. This could be a Nick high. I think just 12 points, but plus 11, 13 dimes. He played the facilitator tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone was feasting. Everyone was eating and beasting in this one. OG Anunoby, 9 of 15, 4 of 8, 50% from downtown. Excellent. New York Knicks got 30 assists as a team, shot 42% from downtown as well. And all the starters in the plus. Muhammad Diawara got some small minutes, but Landry balled out. Now, Karl Anthony Towns was voted in, man, as a key reserve. So I think our guys were giddy in this one. They were definitely up for it in that second half, and the defense stepped it up. But what an end to the second quarter, man, from TKO, man. We don't win this game without Tyler Kolek, and he is instrumental right now. He's court vision. He's getting downhill at the pace of like Campaign used to be able to get downhill. I'm seeing a lot of things that, Kolek's spoken of that he's learnt off Campaign. He's coming in with energy and the ball is zipping around too. Sham God was cooking a pocket Knicks. I like that. Shampoo was clutch, says Al Tango. 6 in a row. We're absolutely buzzing. What a valuable guy that Shamet is, man. It just goes to show why all these coaches appreciate Landry Shamet. The fans, the front office as well. But, Tibbs, Mike Brown as well. And, just rightfully vindicated, man. Tough to take, JC out of the rotation. But you see the vision now with the ball movement and open looks, man. LeBron, LA, man, they had to go zone. Right, let that sink in, man. Knicks beating them and splashing the 3 ball, man, at 42%. You love to see that as well. We've finally got our shot back as well. And I think roles are getting clarified now. Chemistry is at an all-time high. And a players-only meeting ever since that Brooklyn beatdown, man. We might be looking back and saying, guys, that Brooklyn beatdown was the catalyst to get our season rolling, man. That got the engine started back up. And since then, we have not lost a game, right? 6 in a row, and handing out L's to Luka and LeBron, man. You can't spell Luka and LeBron without the L. How's that for you? CC says they picked it up. Second half was excellent once again. Look, we are really turning the tide in terms of, it used to be third quarter of doom. Now it's third quarter of boom, ladies and gentlemen. Johnny Chiba says, Knicks are not forcing it, allowing their D to create offense with OG leading the way. Yeah, you're absolutely correct, man. Spot on. And I think the energy's high because, let's say this, man, the defensive energy is high because on offense, people ain't getting, they ain't getting, shut out. It's Mitch touching the basketball. I still think Cat probably wants to touch the ball more, obviously. But I think when he plays with Kolek, we'll focus on that tonight because we got to see more of the Kolek and Cat combinations. But look, yeah, Kolek's energy, man. You see, he just relocates there. He finds himself open, gets the tip out, the hustle play, and Kolek's playing more physical, man. all the knocks on the size and coming out of college, man, it just goes to show, man, if you work hard at anything, fam, you can do it. You can prove the doubters, the haters wrong as well. What was the weakness, the knocks on Kolek? It was size. He was too soft, too small. And he got in the gym in the off season and has definitely taken a major step up, right? Who knows if he's going to be in the playoff rotation right now? Who knows if we're going to be talking about a new Knicks backup point guard after the trade deadline? But it's a healthy luxury to have, and I do think in these whatever trade conversations that have been had, I think Kolek, would be a player that other teams might be talking about. Um, I wouldn't be moving on from TKO at this point in time because he is, personifying what it is to be a New York Knick, man. He's definitely showing a lot of fight. How about this play, man, with the step back over Luka? One of those moments, I think it was Luka gave him the too small, or LeBron, and you see the too small fight back and punch back, hitting that shot over Luka Doncic as well. Look, he's fearless right now. I feel like a lot of these guys are playing, fearless, especially, TKO, but especially Mo Diawara too. Muhammad Diawara hitting the 3 ball again. We'll talk about that. We'll bring up the next play. Shout out to everyone in the building, man. Hit that like button. We've got the Knicks streets buzzing. Sham God deserves that extension, says Pete. Shea Signature's in the house. Michael Drake, salute AJ. Big win, national TV stage, man. Biggest dub of the season, says AJ. Look, I think outside of the NBA Cup, yeah, regular season stage, the energy, the stakes was amazing tonight, especially in that second half, man. I'm just in awe of our defensive effort, man. We beat the Lakers into submission, right? They couldn't get looks. Look at Hart right there, man. Jose G, what up? JB, 13 dimes means his guys are producing. Let's go, Knicks. Yeah, look, JJ Redick's a smart coach. I think they were going to focus on Brunson, and he was just sloppy in the first half. Couldn't really get separation. I think the zone was kind of messing with Brunson, and Lakers were going heavy zone. Like I think this might have been the game where the opponent gave us the zone the most, and it definitely messed with JB, and he couldn't quite operate like he normally does. But he definitely, man, decided I'm just going to start distributing, and you see the hustle play as well. Look, shout out Mike Brown. He challenged the call. Brunson got the charge. He was called for the foul initially on the charge with Luka, and we got the call reversed, fam, as well. So does Jalen Brunson get defensive player of the game at some point, man? He's the only player, I think, out of the major rotation that has not got the hard hat Tims and the work vest. Jalen Brunson, I think, wants that one, coming up too. We'll see what's up with the Giannis talk as well. I see Pete talking about it as well. We haven't really got any new major updates, but we're getting closer, man. We're getting closer to the trade deadline. And here it is, right? The rookie, Muhammad Diawara, in that rotation, right? Sparingly, 5 minutes, but that's okay. It's a big game, big spotlight, and it's a good learning experience, right? He could have zipped that one to our OG under the basket, but Muhammad Diawara showing confidence, quick trigger, and what a beautiful jump shot, fam. He's got the nice flick of the wrist as well, right? He's got the jumbo wingspan. But look, Muhammad Diawara had a couple of great defensive possessions and a couple of man, welcome to the NBA moments where LBJ took him to school like a veteran. But Muhammad Diawara, man, he's learning every game. I'm just so happy that he's a New York Knick, and he's getting opportunities as well. I mean, look back at these draft picks we had where first, second year, they couldn't even get off the bench under former coaches. Even when they struggle, they wouldn't be able to get many minutes. But we've definitely turned the page now. Jose G says Josh OG and Shamit were letting it fly tonight for buckets. Absolutely, man. Great to see the team shoot 42% from downtown. Uh, Also, got a note, man. The Lakers, I've put there on the banner as well. They missed a lot of free throws, man. I think early in the first half, they missed about 4 or 5 free throws. LeBron, Luca, they should have been up 7, 8, 9, I think, at the half. And the next quarter break, only being down 4 as well. But again, shout out to TKO for keeping us in it as well. Um, Johnny Jackson, salute. Great to see you. Dallas fan, I'm assuming, from Texas. Thank you, New York. The Lakers stole our Luca from Dallas. May they forever be cursed. So we got you, man. We owed the Lakers one. And actually, we'll see them again. We've got to go to crypto later in the season as well. But look, LeBron's been making a mockery of, over the years coming to Madison Square Garden, treating it like his playground. And we finally, well, we've been obviously a lot more competitive over the last 5 years, but we're finally now the bully. We bullied the OG tonight, man. And obviously LeBron has shown some regression. Obviously, he's still got the championship pedigree. He's got the mental side of things. And I thought LeBron was very unselfish tonight, but he clearly, his body is, more limited now. And look, you might be a Laker fan, thinking, that's obvious, but I don't watch the Lakers a lot, so this is my first extended look at LeBron in a while. Obviously, he's just come back as well, had he's missed some time as well, but with LeBron, like, he's a point guard really in a power forward's body at times. He could have tried to force it a lot more, but you could tell he's trying to figure out, still playing with Luca, and what an adjustment that would be because, Luca dominates the basketball. Um, Now we'll talk about this later tonight, but Stefan Bondi says a name to look out for the Knicks is Ayo Dosunmu, the Chicago Bulls, man. I've been a major fan of Ayo for a while. We'll see if he gets moved because I think he's going to be a free agent, right? And the trade deadline has begun officially with some moves being had, man. Cleveland doing moves with Sacramento for Dennis Schroeder, Keon Ellis, and sending DeAndre Hunter over to California. But shout out to man, announced as a 6-time All-Star reserve too in this one, together with Duran, Spider, Norm Powell, Scotty Barnes, Jalen Johnson, and Pascal Siakam. So no arguments there, man. Cat doesn't miss out on being an All-Star. Not sure whether he's going to be playing for USA or for the internationals, right? But here is the full squad. We'll talk about that more as we go tonight. But some more highlights to roll early in this one. Look, Cat was aggressive early too. I like to see that he wasn't too out of control, but man, he gets a tough whistle. Like he wasn't getting a lot of obvious foul calls. DeAndre Ayton had his jersey, fouled him on a couple of possessions, but Cat was furious. Mike Brown took him out of the game, I think, to calm him down. But late down the stretch, we played better defense. Obviously, Cat was in foul trouble. Mitchell Robinson was a beast on the glass once again. D. Grant, the Knicks won good. Chancellor says, held a hot team to 100. Lakers scored at least 120 over the past 6 games or so. Yeah, they went cold, and the Knicks turned the water off, as well. Man, when Gabe Vincent was splashing, I'm like, man, we can't be having this. A lot of their role players were really keeping LA in it in this one. But yeah, I don't think Luka really had too much of an impact, down the stretch when it was really, close enough to be a game. Again, I think they're trying to make it work LA. They're trying to be unselfish, move the ball around, but obviously, Luka and LeBron, I think, got to be, 10 times more aggressive down the stretch. I mean, you can't be relying on Hashimura and Laravia and these guys to win you the game. Look, we'll see what the Lakers do at the trade deadline as well. There's already talk that DeAndre Ayton ain't, the center of the future for them. But look, every team would love to do a couple of upgrades, and tweaks. Also, man, I haven't even mentioned this yet, but yeah, like Russell says, Deuce McBride, no setback, but reports come out that he's still dealing with the sore ankle, as well. So look, Deuce has taken his time, but yeah, what a performance to put in without one of our best players, Deuce McBride, on the season. Right, he's been phenomenal this season as Deuce, and one guy's out, man. Next man up. Next man up. Deuce McBride out. Landry Shamet, Tyler Kolek looking amazing, right? And today we've given out 3 game balls, ladies and gentlemen, fam. We're feeling right, man. It's Sunday night, over 1:30 in the building. NBA fans, Laker fans, Knicks fans, and Dallas fans included as well in the building. Mark says Luca was doing a lot of laughing. Who's laughing now? Yeah, we gave out the L's to the Luca and LeBron show. We owed them one at MSG, and I'm looking forward to the next one at Crypto. Always a good game, man. Knicks fans represent in LA. There was a lot of Laker fans tonight in the building as expected at MSG. We had Spike Lee, we had Fat Joe, we had Michael J. Fox, we had everyone on Celebrity Row, and the Knicks were really up for it, man. Our primetime Knicks and primetime Tyler. I think he needs to get that nickname, man, because Tyler Kolek has his best games when the stakes are high, and that says a lot. That says a lot about a player's moxie, man, especially when Brunson wasn't correct in the first half. Like, we would have been down more without Tyler Kolek. What did he hit? 3 threes in that first half, and he got loose, man. He needs to be on that scouting report because Kolek can get downhill. He'll swing the passes around. He'll make people pay, and you've definitely got to go at him defensively. But to Tyler's credit, man, he's got tougher as well. Obviously, he's going to give up that size, but you saw Luka trying to back him down. You saw LeBron backing him down as well. He got caught on a lot of switches, did Tyler, and the fact that we didn't really lose out too much on those minutes because he was awesome on the offensive end. That shows to me that he's ready for playoff action. You see Kolek, right? 13 minutes, 2 of 6 from downtown, a couple of missed threes late, but +3, 8 points, right? 4 assists, 2 rebounds. So he does rebound well for a point guard, and +3 in that limited action as well. So he's not hurting you defensively, too much as well. So shout out to Mike Brown for making that tweak, right? Anyone interested in making a coaching change right now? Man, Knicks were in a slump. People were calling for Mike Brown's head. People even hoping Tom Thibodeau would come back, right? But credit to everyone for getting it together. They woke up, and they're definitely playing their best basketball right now, man. There's been no flukes, no getting lucky. The Knicks are on a 6-game winning streak. Obviously, there's been a couple of beatdowns, but there's been some hard-fought victories, especially in Toronto, in Philadelphia, playing against Portland and playing against LA as well. Been some real solid victories, obviously, in this 6-game run. But it started with the Brooklyn beatdown as well. There ain't nothing like getting right, again, putting the beat down on the younger bro as well to feel good. Now, in the spotlight, right, I put Landry Shamet in here, taking out Jordan Clarkson. Clarkson's been out of the rotation for a while now, and the writing might be on the wall. But welcome in the spotlight to Landry Shamet, because he's been phenomenal since coming back overall. And the 3-point ball can go down like it is right now. We're going to be really dangerous, man. So he's fortified a playoff rotation spot. What's going to happen with Kolek's minutes? Mitch is going to continue to come off the bench like we know. Deuce McBride will as well, unless Hart swaps out for Deuce. So that's still a small question mark. If Hart starts, obviously your bench is Deuce, Mitch, Shamet, and then the point guard, whether it's Kolek or Alvarado at the trade deadline, someone else. We'll see. Yabusele most likely going to be gone. Is there room for one more guy? Do we go 9? Do we go 10? It's going to be interesting, man. Diawara continues to get those opportunities. Shout out to Mo for staying ready, but obviously the coaching staff continuing to trust Mo Diawara, right? Now there's a guy on the market right now. Javon Carter got bought out or waived, fam. So if we can't swing an Alvarado deal for whatever reason, if the Pelicans want more trade or more draft compensation, or maybe they don't want to take Yabusele, which I don't think that's going to be a holdup if the Knicks are willing to put a second round pick in there. But if that can't be done, how do y'all feel about picking up just a Javon Carter as a guy who, could just be a veteran, a backup emergency as well? Maybe you give Kolek a guy to compete against. And, we know Javon Carter is a defensive first kind of guy. Now, he's not swinging the needle, but I think we do probably need to bring in another perimeter defender, maybe another guy with extra size. We'll see how that plays out, but hopefully a couple of guys, quite possibly. We have a super chat come through from my guy, Johnny Chiba. Appreciate you for the contributions as always, man. Stay blessed and big up. TKO equals fresh air to stagnant ISO. High IQ basketball recognize. Absolutely. I love it, man. Look, you and me especially, man, we've been on the TKO hype for a long time, and it's just you feel like a proud uncle or a proud dad watching a young Knicks rookie defy the odds, defy the logic, defy some of the doubt. Is there still going to be some growing pains coming forth? Absolutely, there will be. Kolek is not a perfect player. He's projects to be a long-term backup, but I think there's upside to the point where he can be, from what I'm seeing in a talent perspective, if he gets it all together and he continues to improve every season. I think there's enough skill set and ability where Kolek could be. Not saying he will be, but he could be a borderline starting caliber player. Kind of like, when Reggie Jackson, like prime Reggie Jackson, used to be on OKC. Now, I'm not saying in terms of game versus game. I'm just saying in terms of like six man, 5.5 if one of the starters is out. I think that's Kolek's ceiling. I mean, there's times when he runs the offense better than Brunson, and he's a true point guard, Big East player of the year in college. The pedigree there is, speaks for itself. I want to give an honorable shout out to Bryson Warren as well. I like his game. He balled out tonight for the G League Westchester Knicks. He put up 28, 11, and 6. Now, he's looking for a two-way spot. Now, we did give the two-way spot to Dylan Jones. We might convert McCullough, or trade Jemison. Bryson Warren needs to be looked at because he's performing really, really well at this point. Glenn Jones, man, salute. Great to have everyone in the building. Continue to shout you guys out, man. We relive this big win. Glenn Jones says, my man, glad we beat a decent team. I'm just worried we won't make any trades and we stand pat and don't improve upon this. Yeah, it's a possibility, Glenn, but I'm optimistic that we will make a move and that'll improve the squad. However way, whether it be bolstering a spot, depth, or a more splashier move, to improve the rotation. But Leon Rose, man, he's been aggressive almost every season, making an in-season move as well. So I think it's more likely we are going to bring someone in. I think healthy competition is really good. And look, I think it's healthy. Guys like Kolek and Diawara are, playing maybe above their current projection in terms of maybe what the front office expected. And whether they lose their spot or not, I think it's still healthy competition, but you still got to look to improve. I don't know if the front office was banking on the 56th pick Diawara to be, worthy of a playoff rotation spot, but we're in this conversation right now. Um, these guys are playing in big games, big opportunities as well. Uh, yeah, once again, Johnny says, man, thanks for honoring, uh, thanks for avenging, sorry, the Luka trade as well. Yeah, obviously we got Nico out of the building as well. He's gone, long gone. Hopefully Dallas fans, can look forward to their future with Cooper Flag, but it's still tough to get over, man. How your GM pulls the wool and sends out your franchise player is insane. James Baker says, big win, CT, on the big stage at the Garden. Too. Demario, great to see you as well. Great win. Let's keep pushing. Yeah, we got Washington up next. We'll take a look at the standings, man. But how long can this thing go? All the way up to Detroit on Friday. We got Washington, we got Denver as well on the back-to-back. How sweet it would be to be 8 in a row heading into Detroit and Boston, right, as we're heading into the trade deadline and all-star break, where everyone not named Brunson and Cat will get a good rest. Hart, OG, the other guys, Mitchell Robinson, it's going to be great. Those guys are going to get 7 days rest as well, right at our peak, fam, as well, as we're hitting our top gear, fam, right now. We're heading into all-star break where guys can get some more rest as well. I do think it's going to give the locker room a nice boost as well, bringing in maybe one more guy, 2 more guys. Don't forget we can add a 15th guy. If we do send Yabusele and Dardier out, we'll have 3 roster spots that we can fill as well. And if we can get that salary number down, we can sign the 15th guy right away, as well as bringing in maybe 2 more guys via the trade as well. So keep an eye out for the buyout market. Javon Carter is a name. He's out there now. He's been bought out. Let us know how you guys think about that. Right? Yeah, we could do better. I would take Alvarado ahead of Javon Carter, but if we can't get Alvarado for whatever reason, I think just bringing in another veteran who could actually play, who's not too old. I'm not really interested in bringing in a PJ Tucker type. I respect the idea. I respect the move, bringing in an OG with championship pedigree. But, we need bodies. I think we need some bodies that are able to play if needed in the playoffs. I'm hopeful for an Eves Missy type because once again, you see a night like tonight, Cat's in foul trouble. It's almost like death, taxes, and Cat is going to be in foul trouble. Especially, when the referees dictate how they want to call it. We will see that in the playoffs. Cat gets a raw deal. I'm going to stick up for Cat on that respect where, he's sloppy defending. That's just what he is. But on the other side, he doesn't get the same respect. He doesn't get the calls that he should when he's aggressive going to the bucket. And it hurts the Knicks. How many times is a Cat out of control drive and miss or layup, when he gets fouled, falls to the ground? How many times does that end up in a transition basket up the other end? Almost every single time. It hurts the team in that respect. But again, that's not Cat's fault because he's not getting the whistle, but he needs to try to play under control too. Johnny Chiba, Mitch was kind of silent tonight. Not that we needed him, but he was not his usual superhuman self. Could be a number of things. Yeah, could just been an off night. That happens. Or it could have been maybe, yeah, everyone just kind of sleeping uneasy right now. Everyone's kind of on tender hooks, Even Hart spoke about it. I mean, Hart got to feel probably one of the safest that he's not going to be traded, but even he would know that you can never say never in terms of the business. To building blocks, salute. Thoughts on Clarkson signed on here on a discount to play. He said he had other options. I'd be mad too. Yeah, I think Clarkson's been fine in the locker room. He's been professional, but deep down, he's got to be feeling down. Played a major part of the early season success, winning the NBA Cup, hitting big shots, winning us some games as well. I think Clarkson's been fine for his role, but I think where the team was struggling, defensively, we had to make a tweak. Now, I wouldn't have completely cut Clarkson and put him in the doghouse, but defensively, we did have to lower his minutes because, we were losing defensively and we were just getting ran through, man, like Bonnie Blue in terms of defensively. We need to stop the hemorrhaging, stop the bleeding, and if that meant playing Diawara more, or playing a more of a point guard, facilitate, take care of the rock kind of guy, I get it, because Clarkson was a little bit out of control. But I think Clarkson is going to be valuable. A player of his quality on offense is going to be very valuable in the playoffs, because look, defenses are going to tighten up. Late shot clock, you're going to need guys that can create a basket out of nothing. Those guys are really valuable. Look, even Campaign won us a playoff game last season as well, where, guys were just in a funk and we needed someone unexpected to just come out and hurt the opponents as well. That's where Shamit comes in. That's where Kolek comes in. That's why we do have a championship level squad. Now, there's been the recent period we weren't playing or looking like a championship level squad. But how we're a championship level squad is if, let's say you're playing the Knicks, you're game planning to beat the Knicks, right? How many guys you got a game plan for? That lets you know how serious the Knicks, team is, right? Okay, you got to slow Brunson down. All right, we definitely got to slow OG Anunoby down and not let him shoot threes. All right, what happens if Karl Anthony Towns starts to get loose? What happens if Mikal Bridges, goes spaz with 10 points in a quarter? And then, like I said, let's not forget, what if, and then you key in on those guys, Kolek and Shamgod gets crazy. Josh Hart comes out of nowhere and can put up 20 as well. That's why it's difficult to beat the New York Knicks, right? There's only so many guys you can key in on and game plan. You can't game plan to slow 7 guys down. You can't game plan to stop 8 guys. A lot of these teams are very top heavy, right? Like if you want to beat the Miami Heat, and maybe the Heat aren't the best example, maybe you want to try to game plan to stop the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? All right, you slow Donovan Mitchell down. You slow Darius Garland down. Okay, what? Is Evan Mobley going to beat you by himself? Absolutely not. And that's obviously why Cleveland are where they are. They're too top heavy. They don't have enough options right now. The Knicks have about 7 guys that can get crazy and put up 20. Even Mitchell Robinson, if he dominates the glass and gets to the foul line with the hacker Mitch, he could put up 20 as well. So, yeah, the Knicks got the weapons, man. They just needed to lock in on defense. Right? That was single-handedly the major issue. It was never offense. Right? I mean, the only team that really made us look anemic was the Detroit game. And, we were coming off a back-to-back, and that was just bad timing. That was bad timing. The Tassie salute, Shamit's the shizzle. Yeah, he's on fire tonight, man. He was on fire. Great to see him, man. Showed up Luka and LeBron in this one. Tony from Denver salute. We are going to be facing the Denver Nuggets on Wednesday. Looking forward to that. Cat's best games usually come against the Joker. And now look, Cat got to be feeling somewhat better about himself because, he's just been named a 6-time All-Star. I know, nobody wants to be a reserve, but truth is he doesn't deserve to start as an All-Star. He's not in the top 5, right, in the East, but in terms of reserve, like I think that's fair enough for Cat. So we got another year, guys, 2 Nick All-Stars, and unfortunately OG Anunoby couldn't get it done, but OG's been amazing for most of the season. He just had that, dip at the wrong time, I think, when it comes to, his level of play, right? But there, another assist from Mitch, too. We've given out a game ball recently for Mitch, but he's one of our unsung heroes, right? He deserves to be, given his praise and props as well. And just on my thoughts about our depth, right? When you have a guy that can impact the game like Mitch as highly as any other player, but doesn't need the ball, that's special. That's powerful, because most good players on teams, they need the ball to make an impact, right? You can impact the game as much as Brunson, but you don't need the ball, right? So that fits the Knicks' current situation like a glove, because we've got so many players that need the ball. And a guy like Mitchell Robinson just makes other guys look better. So shout out to Mitch. That's right. They owe him a dinner, because Mitch can make you look better. Look, Shamet doesn't get this shot and doesn't get wide open without Mitchie putting the beat down on Ayton and that one. He had Hashimura and LeBron, man. They were no match for Mitchie. Bryson Warren, call him up. Michael Drake, I see you. I see you, Michael Drake, in the house. I like Bryson Warren. That's a crazy stat line. 28 points, 11 assists, and shooting the lights out with 6 threes. Johnny Chiba says, TKO's trajectory following Deuce's rise to the rotation. Kolek's ceiling is higher because he makes other players better. Yeah, I think Kolek's ability to shoot it now is serious, and the numbers don't lie. Now, he's not the shooter Deuce McBride is, but yeah, the way he is capable of knocking down that three now and opening up the offense with his passing game, is changing everything. Look at that give and go, man. The fake, the okey doke. And he's definitely improved on his quick step. Now, if I'm writing a list on how many things Kolek has improved on from, even just Summer League, I think that list has got to be at least 5 to 6, 7, 8 long. He's improved with ball handling. He's improved on his defense. He's improved on decision making. Like I said, he's improved on the floater as well, finishing in contact. There's been a lot of things, man. If you can make a leap like that in just a season, that means, you are on track for like a Deuce McBride level rise, a Deuce level ascendancy. Deuce was an older prospect as well, not as old as Kolek, but when he got drafted. But in terms of dominating at a college level, right? I feel a lot more confident in a player's ceiling if they were dominant at college level. That's where it starts, right? If you can dominate at your level at college, that speaks for itself. Then you can get to the pro game. Okay, you're a boy among men. You got to take some time to develop. What did they say? The point guard spot is the longest position to develop. So we got to give Kolek, at least 2 years in the league. Even if you are dominant at college level, because the point guard position is the most difficult. And we could rub out last year, because last year wasn't even really a rookie year, because let's be honest, how much did Thibodeau play Kolek? Right, he barely played. So you could kind of say, okay, that's a scratch. It wasn't really even a rookie year. This is essentially Kolek's rookie year, in my opinion. So, the future is bright, man. The sky's the limit, too, man. I think he could be a borderline starting player in terms of he'll most likely stay in the 6-man role or backup point guard. But if you remember, like Reggie Jackson situation, Dennis Schroeder, they are quintessentially 6 men. But for for a couple of years in their career, they were capable and, maybe got a starting opportunity as well. You could talk about Tyus Jones as well, right? Like, if you're making a comparison now, could you see Kolek having a better career than Tyus Jones? Absolutely. I could see that. Was it Corey Joseph, Ish Smith? A lot of those guys got starting opportunities on teams as well. Um, a guy like Emmanuel Quickly he bet on himself. He showed a lot more offensive talent, and got more size than Kolek, but he became a $30 million guy. He was drafted in the late first round. Kolek was once dubbed, to be a late first round pick, by a lot of scouts as well. So that, yeah, he's definitely, he's fitting in right now. Is Kolek, man? He reminds me of, the gritty backup point guards in the 90s in terms of they just come in, they play solid, they do the fundamentals. Charlie Ward, those guys, man. Remember we had a Langston Galloway as well. Langston Galloway. Some of these point guards, they're late developers as well. We got Buzzer Beater in the house. Let's go. 6 in a row. G Money, yeah, wants to shout out the Knicks' crisp ball movement and defense. Yeah, they're definitely playing with more energy. They're getting into the sets a lot quicker as well. I noticed when they grab the rebound, they're ready to go. The wings are filling the lane. I think that's the most important thing. One thing I love about Shamet, man, when we grab a rebound, Shamet is out. Like, he's filling that lane, and they've got to respect that. There was a couple of possessions where he was straight up in the, in the lane, and Gabe Vincent had to cover him, which opened up the lane for the fast break as well. So it ain't just moving the ball up the court. Everyone's got to get up the court, quick. And I think that's been a key adjustment as well, especially, wings filling out that lane. The Tassie says, great game by all with Jalen not 100%. Yeah, it just goes to show how dangerous we can be, everyone's stepping up. Next man up with no Deuce McBride as well. No Clarkson playing at the minute. I mean, that's a luxury a lot of teams can't afford right now too, man, in this crazy season. We just have to take a moment to just realize, okay, every good team has, some struggles in the regular season. You see, Cleveland start slow. They're starting to, climb up a bit. Philadelphia look like they were going to have to blow things up. And then now they're kind of amongst it now. It's really only been Detroit, because Boston started slow as well. Boston are obviously, in jockeying now for the second spot with us, but Boston started the season quite slow. They're around 6, 7. Fans were undecided whether they should tank, whether they should, try to make something of this season and bring Tatum back. And so everyone except Detroit has really had, some funk this season, right? Even Pistons, I think, lost 2 or 3 in a row, but that wasn't anything like the Knicks slump, But yeah, it is a grueling schedule, especially with guys playing heavier minutes and the heavy reliance. And that's why it's so important to play your bench. If you can win games with 2 or 3 of your best players out or hurt or rested or sitting, or if they have an off night, that that's valuable. That's so valuable, because it's going to keep them more fresh. Less wear and tear as the season, progresses, right? And I think it speaks to, those moments when Brunson was out. I forget how many games Brunson missed, but I think we went like close to 500, because you do have Deuce, you have Kolek, you had Jordan Clarkson, we can win games even if Brunson is out. That is key, right? If the Lakers don't have Luka, or a team like Philadelphia doesn't have Maxey, or Cleveland doesn't have Donovan Mitchell, that's tough. It's tough for them to win. You definitely really got to share the rock. and move it around. Shout out Jay Will says the refs hate Cat. They do. I think it's from a reputation now. I think that's where we're at. You know, his reputation, doesn't help him from the complaining, but the referees, man, they're vindictive. They don't like to be, you know, disrespected. They don't like to be, talked back to. But they've got to keep it professional because Cat is just getting mauled, especially a couple of times tonight. I think if he does try to cut back on the complaining, he does tend to get a better whistle. It's just a case of him, trying to play under more control as well, and trying to sell the calls even better, I guess. Like, I mean, how did Brunson, become great at getting to the line? He does sell the calls better. You got to be able to also sell the contact. You got flops like Joel Embiid, flops like Harden and Jimmy Butler. Man, they get a generational whistle. Partly because they use their physicality and their smarts, but they know how to sell calls. They know how to dupe the referees. That's a big key. But also what helps the Knicks, fam, is we don't really get called for many illegal screens. I know Cat does get a little sloppy, but most of Cat's fouls are on the offensive end when he's got the ball. But Mitch has gotten a lot better at not, giving up illegal screens. Cat, to my memory, hasn't really given up any real illegal screens, apart from that crazy one when he put his elbow up, and even that wasn't an illegal screen. I think one of the players ran straight into his elbow, and Cat got the call. Cat got called for a foul. I mean, which was crazy. But yeah, outside of that, we are playing more discipline. We ain't giving up the 3-point fouls either. We ain't giving up those crazy closeout, the reckless closeouts too. So that's helping us as well. Not being, too sloppy. Now let's take a look at the stats from tonight, because our New York Knicks, man, put in a near perfect game. I think outside of the second quarter, perfect second half, but 30 dimes, man. 30 dimes as a team. Once we hit that 30 point, you can all but guarantee a victory. Also, 42%, above 40% from downtown, almost 43%. The Lakers shot a wretched 28.6. So also, the Lakers shot a wretched 63% from the foul line, man. Like I said, the foul line killed LA tonight. They didn't hit their foul shots. Luka and LeBron. Shout out to the MSG crowd, because they were making it raucous, and especially the Thundersticks were out. We won the rebounding. We got more steals. This might have been our best game in terms of the turnovers as well. Only 7 turnovers, right? That's almost crazy. I got to double check the whole box score, because 7 turnovers only, man. Cat had 3. Everyone else just had, no one had more than 1 in terms of the turnovers. So that was big time too. Fast break points too. When we're getting stops, we're getting easier buckets too. We got easy buckets tonight from passing. OG Anunoby around the basket, drives to the lane, 16 fast break. We got 13 second chance points, and we won the points in the paint, 46 to 40 as well. So basically, like I said, a near perfect game statistically. Just that slow start. But I did feel like LA were going to come in with energy, because early, they're happy to be in New York City on the stage. They wanted to show out. LeBron James, Luka. As someone mentioned in the chat tonight, man, Luka was laughing a lot. He was feeling maybe a little bit too relaxed, feeling like the Knicks would just roll over. Man, the Knicks were not going to roll over in this one. The fast finishing Knicks, I call them, because Yeah, they like to, you know, fast finish and play the underdog role where they're coming from behind, right? Especially when the crowd's getting up and the defensive level, gets up as well. Another night where the three wings or four wings now with Hart, Diawara, Mikal, and OG Anunoby. Um, if we can pick up another wing at the trade deadline, I think that could put us in pole position, man, to get out the East if we're not already, right? With respect to Detroit, right? Here's a semi-realistic name, which is going to be difficult, as Stefan Bondi notes, but Ao Dosunmu, man, is a name to watch for the Knicks. But he says would cost a lot. I don't know what's a lot, man. Salary filler and maybe the Washington first. If we could do that, man, it's a no-brainer. They're probably going to ask for Kolek or Deuce. But yeah, Ao Dosunmu is a great player, man. He would fit really good. But obviously the way that TKO is playing right now, right? Try to keep him out of every single trade. We're trying to improve the team at the end of the day and the future. I'm not trying to, move out one for one. That kind of thing. I think we are trying to add to our depth. Just in case we might lose Clarkson completely. He might ask for a buyout, or he might ask for a trade. But the way I'm seeing it, like Kolek and Diawara, they're rotation players, Now, if we can make an upgrade, you try to do so. But if the playoffs come right now, I have no hesitation, giving them a chance, especially if the matchup is favorable. You always got to consider the matchups too, guys, because I think, for example, I was thinking this the other day, right? If we look at the series against Detroit last season, the first round, right, that was rough and tough. That was physical. There wasn't much, space to breathe in terms of on offense. It was physical. Campaign had a big game early, and then he kind of got yanked. He was too sloppy. I don't know if that was a series where you could play Kolek or you could play Diawara major minutes. Depends. But on the flip side, the series against Indiana, where things just opened up, they were playing Tony Bradley, they were playing 12 guys, and then Thibodeau started to, to reach for the bench and go for, DeLon Wright. He started to give Landry Shamet an opportunity. That's the type of playoff series where you can, absolutely trust Kolek and Diawara and go 10, 11 deep. So I think it's going to depend on the type of series, What type of series is it? You got to limit your turnovers. That's the thing. If you're playing against a great team like Boston or Detroit, they're going to punish turnovers. So it's tricky, if it's an open game where it's end to end rotation. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. I think Philly. I think if we do end up facing Philly or Orlando, I think you could go deeper into that rotation because it is going to be at a frenetic pace. Philly like to get up and down. They've got the two, turbocharged, guards, Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. I think you're going to need to give guys like Hart and Mikal a rest. You are going to have to, go deeper, I feel. A pocket Nick 6 in a row, 100%. Yo Alpha says OG and Shamet played great. Carlos says Clarkson done in New York. Pretty much for the rotation. I think Clarkson's done for the rotation. Whether he forces the issue in us to be cut or bought out or traded, that hasn't come yet. I could see him, wanting to stick around because, we are, championship contender, but I think, yeah, he's pretty much done in terms of the regular rotation now. Kolek's playing ahead of him. I think they've gone for the defense of Diawara. And we'll see how that plays out, right? I would like to keep Clarkson around for the vibes, and I think, his game could help in a playoff series. But depends what they've got in mind. Javon Carter's been bought out. There's going to be names available where you might be interested in swapping that roster spot and just getting as I said earlier, if Clarkson, Yabu, and Dardier get traded, and Yabu, Dardier aren't even in the rotation no more, and the 15th guy is not even here. So, with Kolek, Diawara, McCullough's on the two-way, Huck Porty doesn't play. It could get kind of crowded, but again, I would prefer to just get as much depth as you can for the playoffs, because we could run 12 deep. We could start to run some of these teams out of the gym, hopefully, like we saw with Indiana. That's the Indiana series, and Indiana playing against Cleveland, and the other team that they beat, Orlando. I think then they beat Cleveland, and then they beat the Knicks. They had the numbers, they had the depth, right? So let's get it. So yeah, we're going to wrap this one up. It's going to be a little bit of a quicker one. Obviously, we'd love to run a bit longer, but I've got something to take care of. But our New York Knicks, man, are taking care of business, right? We've got Washington next up. First of the back-to-back, right? So ideally, rest some guys, man. It's Washington. Or play your starters, run them out the gym in the first half, and then you can hopefully sit early and play these guys, 25 minutes, 28 minutes, and have a rest. But I would expect Deuce McBride to sit this one out again, maybe come back against Detroit or Denver. Maybe Deuce can sit out until Detroit, and hopefully heal up quicker. But play Huck Porty. You might need to sit Mitch in the Washington one. I'd rather have Mitch ready for the Denver game. And if you are going to have to sit Mitch, sit him in the Washington one. Let Huck Porty take care of that. Let Cat play 25 minutes against Washington. Diawara, Kolek, those guys got to play. I would give McCullough a chance against Washington as well. So that is that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll bring you up to speed with more trade news and buzz coming up. But appreciate everyone for rocking out with us tonight, man. Let's go Knicks. 6 in a row. 31-18. Let's go. We'll see you on the next one after Washington post game. Peace.